All right, welcome to the Chaos Evolution meeting on March 25th. I'm going to have a request to all working groups that whoever is leading the meeting share their screen
Oh, yeah.
occasionally or often, because on the videos, it's helpful if people who do actually watch the videos can see the screen that we're talking about,
Yeah, for sure.
because oftentimes it's just a bunch of us talking with no
Which,
context.
yeah, I was thinking a secondary audio channel with color commentary might also be helpful.
That you can do that as well.
Yeah.
Hire a color commentator,
All right. So,
because then we get the people and the screen, which is helpful.
yeah. So,
So Sean, you have noise again in the back.
oh, hang on.
That was it.
Is
That was
that
it.
better? Is
Yeah,
that better?
whatever that was. Humidifier.
No, I have like two fans and an air cleaner that I run for different reasons. All right. So, I know we released a metric last week for review.
Mm-hmm. And that went out in Chaos Weekly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a request for comment, and then Georg sent out an email yesterday.
I think I sent an email that day too.
So I
Yep.
mean,
Thank you for including it in weekly.
yep, that was a good idea. And it's I think it's in that 30-day window right now.
Yep.
Public comment.
And that was new contributors, I think. So I think. So I don't know. Escape. All right. So we have a lot of metrics right now that we're considering.
Mm-hmm.
It's like code review iterations, pull requests, open, closed, and comments, which I think we discussed in a different meeting that those should be. Maybe it was the common meeting that I was in.
Okay.
That we're calling those reviews um, in the other places. Um, that was the naming convention for a pull request.
Yeah, because yes.
Different language in different places. So I um, think we should change these.
Okay.
Did anybody disagree?
No. No, that's what they should be.
Do that.
Let's just change all these to reviews.
Yep. Yeah, you change those. I'll change the Google Docs.
Anybody noticed I finished the spreadsheet?
You what? Finished it?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Are we done?
There were
Is
a
there
lot
no
of
more Chaos Project?
no, there were a lot of I did a lot of updating to the spreadsheet.
I don't study it carefully, so I maybe didn't recognize the work that you did.
It's Matt, the work you've done is so aesthetically pleasing that it just fades in the background and you can focus on the work.
That's what I'm looking for.
Is that what it was? Aesthetic work, or?
In part,
Mm-hmm.
just uh, just allowing us to track if a metric is under review, getting rid of columns that were kind of silly.
Mm-hmm. I like it. It's so beautiful. I didn't even notice it was better.
Georg's point, though.
I know. I agree with Georg. I'm agreeing with the Georg. So we have considering. So we took away a few categories. It looks like no.
Took away moved, and there was some. It was like moved slash something, but that was decided to be removed a while ago. So I just spreadsheet to get rid of that. So this is just about the metrics in the. If you want to move a metric, that's fine, but let's just open an issue in the corresponding working group. That's
Right.
all. Here's a metric that we think you should consider, or just add it for them.
So I'm trying to look at the spreadsheet, and we have things categorized in a certain way. Release development activity, development efficiency, and community growth. I hear a lot of talk about community growth. I'm just trying to start a discussion about which ones we should put into actively working on right now.
Well, to me, anything that has an existing Google Doc.
What?
Anything that has an existing Google Doc.
Yeah, we should.
Moves to the top of the list.
And yeah, so, but I don't think some of these Google Docs have been actually like they're anything but the template.
I see.
Personally, I think probably I hear questions about community growth.
Which one is that? What row?
Community growth is at the bottom. It starts at row 41. And it looks like there's new contributors and contributors of new issues that are pending. That might be might be developed and warrant looking at. I'm opening. But, apparently my internet decided it would slow way down. Nope.
Not much there.
Not much there.
Well,
we did decide at some point that those would be pending. I don't know what pending means. In progress seems more accurate if there's nothing there, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. At the top, pending. Want to add it for release. In progress, advancing it for release. So I mean, if we start typing on it.
Yeah. So I guess should we work on
typing on it? We can change it to in progress.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's work on.
Let's work on new contributors of commits or issues. Any preference for where we start?
Well, you already changed new contributors of issues to in progress, so.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I thought I did both of them too.
I'll take that as a sign.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll start with it. Let's start there then. So is new contributors of issues the name we want? Sounds a bit awkward, but I'll go with it for now.
New contributors of
new issue
issues from new contributors.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense because new issue contributors doesn't make it clear that it's the new contributor part that's important.
New contributors of issues. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's fine.
And question might be,
yep. Just delete all that.
Yep. All right, there's something I need to learn from there. Okay. Description. Inspire. I feel like there's a format to the description that I may not have internalized yet.
There isn't. It's a bit inconsistent.
Okay. Certainly there's a desire to have it consistent. Is there an example metric that you think is...
I think that some metric
meander.
require a slightly bigger description of
Mhm.
what the title
Yeah.
means or what the question actually is. This one seems pretty straightforward. So
Sorry I'm late, guys. I slept through my alarm completely on accident, and I hope you can forgive me.
Yeah. Well, it is, the whole COVID-19 thing and college student existence in general makes it,
Marginally more difficult.
it's just alarm clocks mean less. I
Yep.
get it. Um,
what did you just put in there, Georg?
In
yeah.
the common working group, we have a metric called contributors. And so if we take that as the foundation of identifying who is in the project, then we just need to filter by contributors who are on issues and look at those who didn't contribute before a certain time frame. So then we get new contributors to issues.
Click on Georg's
Thought I did.
right in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one. So I think if I understand you correct, Georg, you're just saying kind of use this language as a
This
way.
is a subclass, basically.
Yes, exactly. It's a subclass of contributors. And then you see under filters, there is issue authors. So we apply the filter issue authors. And then we have another parameter somewhere, or we have another filter saying no activity before whatever our time frame is. So if you want to see new issue contributors in the last 3 months, then we filter by contributors working on issues and filter out everyone who has a comment that is older than 3 months.
So maybe something along the lines as related as a subclass.
This is what we did for the new contributors metric as well.
Yeah.
Just the generic new contributors metric.
So
In
this
this
is,
in that one, we just said at the very last line of the description, this is a specific implementation of the contributors metric. So maybe because this one has an additional filter, it makes more sense to call it subclass. But
Let's see.
You can also make it a specific implementation of the new contributors metric and just take that metric and add the filter that it's on issues, new contributors to issues.
yeah.
so like a subclass of a filter.
Yeah, because they have contributors, and then we've created new contributors, and now this is new
The
contributors of
contributors
issues.
issues.
Yeah.
Let me make a hyperlink. It's not new contributors metric, it's just the contributors metric.
No, there's a new contributors metric in Evolution already, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, that is the one that's currently under community review.
gotcha.
So, my first question is when we go to this. Do we want new contributors of issues and new contributors of commits to simply be filters on our new contributors metric?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
In other words, do we really need to develop two additional metrics, or can they be filters on this existing metric?
I see what you're saying.
And I don't have an argument either way. In one respect, adding it as a specific metric makes it more clear to the to a person who's new to the project that this information is a specific metric, and they don't have to look at a document. On the other hand, we're making a lot of metrics that later have to be maintained and organized.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from a simplicity perspective, having it as a filter would be one less work.
Yeah.
I'm always in favor of doing less.
Amen.
All right. So we have an issue open then on.
Jörg, what are your thoughts on that?
Yep, I think we can go to the contributors
issue.
the contributors metric, where we already have a lot of the filters, and one of them is issue authors. And we just maintain this list of possible filters in the new contributors one, in the new contributors metric, and then
just like copy and paste that set of filters that are in the contributors metric to the new contributors metric.
Yeah, we don't even need to reinvent the wheel here.
Okay.
And then
it's the new part really that is we're adding.
Yeah, and then what we can do is I'm also torn between having a list of here are names of metrics and here's how to implement it, versus having a few set of defined metrics and then you can just apply filters and parameters and everything. But right now I would, if we can get this just by adding the filters, then let's add the filter and be done with it.
Yeah.
And move on to another metric.
I think purely anecdotal, one of the criticisms that I hear about the CHAOSS project as a whole is that it's a lot to take in. And the more that we can kind of keep that volume of noise down, the better. And to me, that would say put it in as a filter. So in the chat, I just put the list. That's the list of filters from the common contributors metric.
I'm just adding a comment to the metric release cycle.
Yep, and then you can, if you want, you can just take that while you're in there. That list that I have.
Yep.
Or that has been put together.
I think doing it in this way of filters is also a good way of showing people that we collect data for things besides what they might have originally been looking for. Might give them new, like just seeing this list of everything that we, would consider a location engagement might help them think of new metrics themselves. Pretty cool.
All right, somebody can add those filters to the metric as well while I add them to the review process.
I can do the new contributors one.
Just adding.
Yeah, and then I think just also take that's what I'm asking someone to do that, because right now we're just watching me type, which I know the excitement is real. I mean,
with these working group meetings, as often as they are, every little bit, slowly but surely.
Yeah. I mean, without sports, I feel like I should be doing some play-by-play. Goggins is now on number 7. It looks like he should be typing faster.
The first time, we don't know.
He seems to be having problems remembering to put the return before the number. It's a strange little thing. He's probably going to have his pitching coach work that out with him.
He did it again.
Oh, that's not going to look good on the season record.
No.
All right. Somebody add this to the actual.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of adding it to the metric right now.
Okay.
We're just going to put it in the same place under filters, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just get rid of.
I'll put in the chat, Carter. This is the one.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Just give you an idea of what it looks like in common.
Just making all the text strike through in the Google Docs.
Really, Zoom? I copied it with the carriage returns and it pasted them without it.
Yeah, from my issue or from the chat?
From chat.
From chat, that doesn't include the carriage returns for whatever reason.
It seems to be.
But if you go to the issue comment that I made,
You can also copy it from the raw file, raw text.
That's what I should have done.
here.
I got it.
You got it. Okay.
Yep. All right. So added the location and engagement. Is there anything else I needed to add to the new contributors?
No.
No, I think the one thing to take a look at is just are all of those filters appropriate? Do they, as you're doing that, Carter, just do they, you know what I mean? Do they just have like some face validity to them?
Right.
You're putting them in there. Like, do you ask the question, like as Sean has up there, like a new contributor as a repository author, a new contributor as an issue author, a new contributor as a code review participant?
What's missing is actually committer, but is that what is intended by repository author? I suspect it is.
Yeah, that's fine.
Programming languages of the project doesn't really make sense.
Which one is that one?
Programming languages of the project. I'm not, maybe I just, is that like saying we should use a new language? That one's, I'm not really sure what that one is like.
That is so somebody who contributes in a new language for the first time, we can get that data. No one's ever asked for it.
No.
You can also make this if someone is writing JavaScript code versus Python code in the project.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could leave it in for now, not to sustain consistency, but there's less face validity to that one than any of the others.
Yeah. Okay, it was just new contributors, right?
Yep.
Okay. 8 new contributors.
And that actually got quite a. It took out 5 potential metrics in. In the spreadsheet.
Oh. Wait a minute. Apparently. I'm just opening an issue in common to clarify.
Okay, I just opened my pull request.
What was your pull request for?
The updating new contributors.
And what are we asking them to update contributors to?
Add in
The
Oh, I see. Adding those things to. Okay, I also added a comment to the release issue. So update new contributors. I see no reason why we wouldn't review and
should probably make sure that I did it right.
Yeah, we kind of had it implied without this long list, but maybe expanding that list as more explicit.
Mhm.
well, it eliminated a bunch of new metrics that we were about to write. So
Mhm.
Well, we had it in there with, if you look at the change, the line.
Yeah, we had a link out to it, but we didn't explicitly copy any of them.
I think this is good.
I do too.
it adds clarity.
Yeah, less
Yeah.
less link hopping.
Yeah, and obviously we had decided we were going to write all these new metrics that are really just filters on contributors and new contributors. So good
So
to.
yeah, I added comments for the ones where I think these are just filters.
Okay, let's see if there's any others. Oh, reviews open, closed comments. Yeah, let's check if those reviews. Let's
Oops.
check on reviews and see if those filters are actually even in there by actors and by groups of actors. And we had open, close, so we would probably issue a change to this metric.
What are you doing right now?
Well, I was looking at Georg's things that he crossed out, and he took a look at reviews, open, closed, and comments, and suggested that they are filters on reviews. And so then I opened the reviews metric that we've already released and checked to see if they were filters already, and they're not. And so I think this would, if we do agree that those are really filters on reviews.
Yeah, we can just have a status filter, the status of the review, whether it's open, closed. And then you can filter. You can see all the reviews, or you can filter to see only the open reviews.
In this case, I don't know. In this case, it's a little less clear to me because so people don't people ask the new contributor question and they want it kind of broadly construed in many cases. When it comes to pull requests, projects do specifically want to know the number that are open and closed and the comments on them. And I agree that they could be filters. And I'm just debating with myself if in this case it is helpful or too complex to make them filters on reviews.
I have a question on this too.
Yeah.
I look at this list. So we have like down below in code development efficiency, we have reviews accepted, declined, and duration.
Mm-hmm.
So, and those are already released.
Yep.
And above we have reviews open and closed and comments, or open and closed, I should say.
Mhm.
And so at what point is something a metric, like it should be its own metric, and at what point should something be a filter? And it's
Yeah.
that line in between, which I'm not sure I've ever thought about.
Me either.
Like I think new contributors and contributors, this made a lot of sense to make them filters. But we do get a lot of questions, and I guess it's in the different people that we're working with right now. They want to know how many reviews are open at a point in time, how many reviews were closed, the ratio between them. number of comments. Reviews duration is actually pretty common.
So there seem to be, like, if we took the trend towards everything becoming a filter, and I know that's not what this discussion is necessarily about, but
Well, it kind of is. It is kind of, yeah.
yeah, but I know that that's not like some aim of, so it so at that point then we would just have kind of the highest level activities as being metrics. Reviews, views, forks, and everything, the activity on those would all be captured via filters. But it appears, listening to you talk, Sean, that there are certain of those highest level items, like reviews, that putting that granularity in a filter may vary it too much.
And it might bloat, like when you talk about like reviews accepted and declined or open and closed, there has to be some definition of, like, does it require, I mean, it's essentially the state of the review. So in that sense, it could be a filter. Accepted, declined, and duration. Mm-hmm. Those are pretty detailed, specific calculations, and I think they make sense. Open and closed, I think they could be filters on reviews because it's pretty easy to describe. Like, I'm thinking also about how much does it bloat the individual metric if we add that as a filter. Like, how much does that need to be explained?
And to your point, I don't know that open needs much description.
Right. Mm. Yeah, I agree. Like, that's almost like review state. Comments, I think, does warrant a separate metric because it's a completely different data point.
Right. Well, you'd have to to your point, you'd have to describe what a comment is, first of all.
Right.
Hence require the metric. Okay. This is a good discussion. I'm all right with that.
I agree with that.
Same here.
Okay.
So we're going to say add. So reviews open. Do we put this to in progress and say that we're going to add it?
We've just been crossing it out.
Well, I want to, yeah.
To make one called reviews and then say that it's, so there's not actually one called reviews. Just
so
reviews,
here's my question. When ultimately when we point to the definition of a metric, does it ultimately on the website go to the metric? On GitHub?
So I don't.
Yeah.
I'm asking because if we make the changes to reviews now, are we releasing these changes?
Doesn't Kevin copy over the markdown and they each have their own individual page? I'm fairly certain that they all.
I think Kevin's generating the markdown, so the next time he generates the website, I don't remember.
Yeah, actually, we've never had a released metric.
Yeah, it's the metric is all on the website. It's never pointing at GitHub. So if we change how it's referenced on GitHub, at least I assume that this is a statically generated thing and it's not dynamically reading the GitHub page. Maybe it is.
It's not dynamically reading, but I believe Kevin generates it periodically.
So
okay.
I can tell you exactly how it works.
Yeah.
The website pulls in from a tag on the repo. So as long as we don't change the
contents of the tag
and the tag, we can continue working master and change things.
Okay.
So what is the tag on the repo?
We just create a new tag.
Is it a tag on the repo or is it a tag on the metric?
On the repo. So if you go on,
it's like
up at the top left where you have the branch master, you can switch the tags, and instead of looking at branches, there's tags. Do you see that at the top? Branches.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
And so we have one commit tagged as a release, and that's where we pull the version in for the website.
Okay. And so we have one, this is getting complex. We do have one under review, so we're going to tag a mid-period release for that one that's under review when the review period finishes. So if we edit master directly on reviews, then whatever changes we make to reviews is also going to get pulled when the review period for new contributors ends and we add the tag, right?
If we use the same tag, yes. If we create a new tag, then we can have the old metric be on the old tag and the new metric be on the new tag.
How do we do that? I don't understand.
So
No, I mean, so if it's tagged at the branch, I guess if it's I guess what I'm trying to understand if it's tagged at the branch level.
I was
How,
just laughing because I was watching your silence, wondering which direction you were going to go.
yeah, no, but so I mean, if I'm tagging a branch,
so the tag is just a reference to a specific commit in the master history.
So
If you
oh,
click on release 2020-01,
okay,
that is a very specific commit on January 21st, 24th. No, sorry, I'm in a common, not working. Yep, there, January 26th.
all right,
That's the commit. And so as long as we do not change this tag, everything will be pulled in from this commit version.
so we would just create a tag. So right now, um, the latest commit was the last commit was here, and I would go to this commit and tag it somehow.
The way you create tags is by creating a release, which if you go back to code, click on code.
Sorry, I know this is a little mechanical. I want to make sure that we don't screw
Totally
things
fine.
up.
Yeah, at the top, it says 2 releases, what the numbers are.
Ah, right, okay. Okay, release tags.
Yep. So that's where you create new tags or new.
Okay, all right. So the release, okay, perfect. It's just the release system. Now I understand. So we're gonna tag a release to include only this commit. Might.
So
Okay.
your question right now is how we do it with the continuous release metrics? Is that the question?
Yeah, yeah. Because is the tag automatically generated for the current state of the repo when it's released?
I manually created all the tags. That's why I know how this system works.
And are you able to edit the commit ID?
I will not do that. We will create a new tag for continuous release. This release is fixed in time. We will never ever update this ever again.
No, no, but when you draft a new release, do you have the choice to edit the?
it's just whatever it's pointing at.
Yeah. So you can create tags also using git commands and have the point at a specific commit.
All right. It's okay.
So tags are a normal git feature.
No, yeah, I know that. I've just never done a release without it being the commit tag at the state of the repository at that time. So I didn't know. I did not know that you could say this release is at this commit level.
Well, if we create a new tag, then
That's what it does. It just takes whatever commit that branch is on and sets that as the commit for where that tag is, right?
yeah, that's
It
the.
just
And so my question is, Sean, why would we want to create a new tag and use a past commit?
Well, for this, I guess for this release of when we go to new contributors and release it,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
it's going to be at a commit level. But if we change, like it's always when I've done releases on GitHub, it's always been the latest commit. It becomes the commit tag.
Yep.
So if you create a tag, it's the latest commit. And if we're editing reviews, and those edits are, before the latest commit, and basically if the edits to reviews in master are before the commit that's current, which they would be, then they would be included in our release, and they wouldn't have gone through the review period.
I see. Yes, that's correct. The one thing I can say to that is, on the website,
Mm-hmm.
for every metric, we can choose which release to pull the metric in from.
Okay.
So while you're correct that in the GitHub repo,
Yeah.
the unreviewed metric would be part of the new release tag, on the website, it does not have to be reflected that way. We can still pull in the old release on the website.
For a specific metric.
Yes. Does that make sense now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If the website build can do that, then I'm not worried about accidentally releasing in progress changes to existing metrics.
yeah.
Which was what I was trying to figure out if we were going to end up doing accidentally.
Yeah. No, I'm glad we talked through that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it made me, I put a note in the minutes, kind of where this conversation was occurring to. Garrett, it's probably a conversation you're going to have with all the working groups that are doing continuous release.
Yeah.
It might be, I mean, another way you could do it is just to have uh, a, have a different branch than master be the release branch, or a different group branch be the working branch, like where we all are essentially working, and just the stuff that's up for under review goes to the under review branch. And then as soon as it's ready, it gets pushed to the release branch. And then we only ever build tags from the release branch, even if it's not master. And that way, even if something is under review, it's only ever we have snapshots of the repository where every metric is always at some form of completion and never in limbo. But if the website can do the different tags, it's probably just the easiest solution. So we should probably just go with that.
and
Yeah, we've thought about doing like feature branches for all the metrics in the past and then merging it all together. And
That sounds like a lot of merge
part
conflicts.
of CHAOSS, that was too much complexity because everything was shifting and moving all the time. And so we just said, okay, we'll work in master. Everything is to some form complete or not complete, but we don't have the overhead of managing multiple branches and forks and whatnot. And so that's why everything is in master, even if it's not adhering to, yes, it's ready for the release. Now, CHAOSS has evolved a lot over the last 3 years, and maybe it is time to review that policy, and maybe it is time to clean up master to only be what is ready for release and have everything else in branches. But I don't quite see the ultimate benefit outweighing the overhead.
I don't think we're feeling enough pain from the way it currently works to warrant worrying about that. I would agree.
I have a question. It's not about process. Well,
okay.
not about the process you're talking about, but if we add something to a released metric, should that go under a 30-day review?
I guess my assumption
Pardon?
was that it would. Um,
Well, like in the case of new contributors, uh, I mean, you could even make the argument we didn't actually add anything,
I don't know. I'm
as
talking about
that,
reviews. So reviews
yeah,
released, and there's a discussion about adding open and closed, or was it issues? No, it was reviews. Open and closed, which
yeah,
is
it's
not.
adding a couple filters.
Yeah. So it's specifically on that one, Carter.
mm,
Because I agree
I
with you.
mean,
New hasn't been released yet.
yeah. Well, I was just saying for new contributors that even though I copied in some new stuff in there, it was a point to it was what was the link was pointing to. So it's not actually any new like content. So I was saying that one I don't think we should review, but the reviews one I definitely think that we should.
That one's currently under review.
No,
Yeah.
reviews is released.
Yeah, reviews is released. And so
So
if you
yeah.
add a filter, does it? I mean,
We have like one line that's a filter, or 2 lines a filter under a 30-day review
I
period.
mean,
Or if somebody changes the description to be a little bit more precise, or it's kind of a bigger question at this point. So do we
yeah.
all?
I think if we're changing, if we change the description, you're changing the definition of the metric,
Or
possibly.
what if it's a bad sentence?
Yeah,
Just a really
yeah,
poorly written sentence.
yeah. So I guess the working group maybe has the authority to decide if it should go under review, or if it's not a material.
If it's a non-housekeeping style of change.
If it's not a material change, then does it? Maybe not. Because like literally, if I edit reviews here, I can just put under filters.
Maybe you would just add open and closed, basically.
Basically, yeah,
By status.
status,
Yep.
open, closed, just like that.
Just like that. That's it. Does that require a 30-day review? It seems a bit much to me.
Yeah, in this case, it really does seem like a 30-day review is a little absurd because no one's gonna disagree
Before you
with that.
commit, you need the DCO sign off,
Uh,
and you immediately merged it into master.
no, I'm on my own branch.
Okay, but you still need the DCO sign off.
How do I do that? Can I do that on GitHub?
Well, you would have done that before you merged the commit. It goes in the commit message.
Okay.
There is a nice tool, like plugin for doing DCO.
I thought I had it on my browser, but maybe I don't anymore.
I know, Georg, you showed it to me. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, it's something like you're in Firefox.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called DCO GitHub UI. I will copy paste the link into the chat.
So it sounds like, in terms of 30-day reviews for released metrics, it at this point could be the discretion of the working groups to require a 30-day review if there's no real material change, like a grammatical update or a new filter.
Apparently, I already have it in my
Maybe
browser.
set up.
Is everybody okay with that?
Can you say it again, Matt? Sorry.
That we don't have to do a 30-day review for released metrics if there's no real material change, or the changes don't change the spirit of the metric. I know that's up to interpretation of the working groups, but
I think that's fine. I mean,
yeah.
we have a recording of us going over it. So if people are like, yeah, I don't like how they did that, or I think it's all right.
Sean,
I agree. I agree. I don't think we're trying to like pull one over on the community here.
So the distinction that I would like to think about as well is, are we making this change with the expectation of updating the website, or is this a change for the next major release?
That's a good point. Because if it's for the next major release, then that kind of inherently goes under a 30-day review.
Yep.
In this particular case, I think since by adding that filter, it does essentially eliminate two of the metrics from the list entirely, that probably should go up for a 30-day. When the actual removal of those metrics maybe should, whatever PR does that should maybe go under a 30-day review. But I mean, at that point, we're fundamentally changing the structure of at least one metric by getting rid of it, right?
Yeah. So just we are gonna get close to D&I folks joining in on this call. So.
Yep. All right, so I'll work on DCO fixing the thing I did at making a pull request.
Yep, and then to Carter's point, and Garrick's point, let's think about kind of what constitutes a requirement for a 30-day review. We don't have to solve it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It might also be helpful to get some opinions from other working groups or maybe on the mailing list about that as well. See if other people have good points.
Yep, cool. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Yep.
All right.
Maybe do that through a pull request against the community handbook, so we document that decision.
There you go.
Okay, good. On that note.
Stop recording.
All right.